Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Tony Jacobs. This podcast is not just about making money. It's about creating a legacy that stands the test of time. From analyzing market trends to mastering negotiation skills, we will leave no stone unturned as we guide you through different stages of real estate investing. We will bring on industry leaders and share stories from the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So now, it's time to level up your real estate game. And there's no better way to do it than right here with us at the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. It's the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm with the one and only Marcus Harity.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Oh, good. Today, we're going to talk about, it's a new month, the new housing laws effective of this year of July 1st, 2025.
Let's do it.
All right. The first one in this beautiful state of California, because everything changes all the time.
Yep.
The number one is the California statewide reform. It's the CEQA streamlining. The AB 130 and SB 31.
131.
131, excuse me.
It's all good. I've heard of this one, or both of them, actually. I am familiar with this one.
Yeah, this one is the infill projects in urban areas are now exempt from full CEQA environmental review.
Yes.
Qualifying projects to get a 30-day deadline for approval. Projects nearly missing exemption will have a review limited to specific environmental impacts.
Yes.
What's that one deal with that? I really don't know much about that.
So like CEQA and environmental, like they are the people that control, like, when you're building and stuff like that, they have to come and do tests. And from what I understand, they make sure that where you're building at is good and sound for the environment. As far as like maybe soil testing and stuff like that, what you're building on, materials that you're using and stuff like that. They just want to make sure that when you're building that you're following environmental guidelines, from what I understand. CEQA, I think they call it CEQA.
Okay.
So that's what I get at.
All right.
Yeah.
The next one, builders remedy and ADU reforms.
Mm-hmm.
It says streamline. You're going to have to help.
It's all good. Streamline ministerial permitting expanded via AB 2011 or 2011 and SB 684. A new 18-month entitlement extension. It allows deferral of fees until occupancy, which this is also really good for housing. The ADUs is a new thing that people are getting into and wanting to build, and especially in California. I think with the 18-month entitlement extension, it's awesome because, when you're building and you go over your timeline, or you go over, depending on what's going on, if it's weather, or you just go over your timeline period of building, that extension will help out a lot. Instead of just having a 12-month, you might need that extra 6 months to be able to have until you're done building, and then you get the thing occupied.
And I think that's good too, especially with the ADUs, because the ADUs, I don't know what the percentage is going to help out with the housing crisis, but it's helping out some. So with this right here, giving people an extension, allow deferral of fees until occupancy is done.
Mm.
I think that's good and beneficial for the ADUs.
Yeah. I think it'll work out in the build as far as the new process of building ADUs, and it's going to help out a lot of investors. So, and a lot of just people who are building ADUs, period.
Oh, yes. The next one, balcony inspections. SB 721 BA and 2579. Buildings with 3 or more units must have elevated exterior structures inspected. Deadline moved from January 2025 to January 2026.
Yeah, this is like just a basic little bit reform or basic law for the multi-units, 3+ units or more. They want you to make sure that the balcony is properly elevated to what the codes are.
Yes.
You know, for building, for the area and for what you're building on. If it's single family, you got to follow those guidelines and codes. And this looks like it. Like I said, buildings with 3+ units must have elevated exterior structures inspected, and that's including balconies. So that's a new law just took effect on July 1st. SB 721 and BA 2579.
Yeah, I have a quick story about that too, because I'm glad they do check balconies, because it was years back. My parents, they lived in an apartment down in the Bay Area, and they were on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
And actually somebody in their apartment complex, it was a good sized apartment complex, they literally went down from the third floor down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like that was huge. Like it was so bad that they basically, no one in the apartment complex could not use their balconies at all.
Wow. And it sounds like what happened in that situation is they maybe built a sound building, but when it came to outer structures or exterior structures, they just like cut corners.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
On that building.
Yeah, indeed. The next one, another ADU.
Mm-hmm.
It's the AB 2533. Extends
amnesty.
I can't smell nothing today. Amnesty
Okay.
for unpermitted ADUs built before 2020,
Mhm.
requiring local agencies to provide clear permitting pathways.
Yeah. Because this is good. This is a good one because I remember when ADUs were just being talked about, and I think the permitting offices and county places weren't too clear on how to do the permitting for ADUs. So like, before 2020, it wasn't a clear, you didn't have a clear, a pathway to get permitted, the ADU permitted. There was always some kind of, I believe, hang up because, everything was so new.
Yes.
So I think there was like hang ups in permitting offices with, well, what can we, what's the law on this or what's the rules on this for ADUs? So they were still kind of maybe sounds like getting things like situated in those offices for them to be able to do it the right way, to have clear permitting pathways, like it says, extends amnesty for unpermitted ADUs that were built before 2020 because a lot of people were building these ADUs and not thinking they needed a permit.
Yes.
And they were building them the wrong way. So I think this helps right here.
Yeah. It was an uncharted territory at that time because people was like, how are you going about doing this? Like, it's the ADUs. Like I'm doing it, extending it at my house or behind my house.
Right.
For people to live in.
Yeah. And it's just all brand new and people didn't know the clear rules and the permitting process on it for builders. And it's now they're got everything kind of streamlined with the laws and bringing it together.
And I was thinking also too, like when the government probably didn't know much about it either, especially around here.
Right.
But then when people started doing it, they're like, all right, how are we going to get our hands in this? We got to get our money made also.
Yeah. We got to figure out what the laws are going to be with building ADUs, and we're going to figure out the permitting process with the ADUs. So I think it's coming up with this one, the ADU amnesty, giving amnesty for those ADUs built before 2020. Because like I said, it's still in kind of the beginning stages of it being kind of popular. It's more popular now, the ADUs. So,
and this one, it's the local zoning updates. This one I didn't know about either. The single family zoning bans. It said cities like Berkeley and Cambridge now allow duplexes, multiplexes, and mill housing by right. In California, statewide similar reforms also continued. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that Berkeley and Cambridge now they're allowed now to have duplexes and multiplexes.
Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with the area. I'm still kind of not, but just to see this update in their local zoning area is awesome because it gives options for more builders and stuff, and it gives more options for more people to invest in. The single family zoning allowing duplexes and more multifamily. That's awesome. That's awesome that it adds more affordable, hopefully more affordable housing, in California in those areas.
Yeah, definitely, because we definitely need it.
Yeah.
The next one is going to be the rental tenant protections here in California. Credit history.
Very important right here.
Yeah, right. Credit history bans, SB 267.
Yeah.
Landlords cannot use credit history alone for rental subsidized housing eligibility without alternative proof method.
Right. They can't just sit there and go off your credit alone. You know what I mean? They have to, be able to go off of previous rental history, of course. You know, that's like really important, not just someone's credit, because anything can happen to someone's credit within the time that they're living, where they're living. Like, stuff happens, man. People, medical, stuff that you just unforeseen stuff that may take a hit on your credit. So I think this is really good. They can't just, they can still go off credit, but they can't just alone go off credit. They have to be able to maybe use that as a last factor to be able to get into a place now, especially subsidized housing. You know what I mean? You should be able to just get in off of being low income. You know what I mean? Some people that are low income struggle with rebuilding their credit and getting out of certain situations that kind of mess their credit up in the beginning. Life happens, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's twists and turns. Everybody's situation is completely different.
Oh, yeah.
The disability rights, SB 1620. Tenants with mobility-related disabilities may request accessible unit transfers at same rent rate.
Yes. I think this is excellent. People with disabilities, sometimes they get the short end of the stick on stuff because of how properties are set up and how it's hard for them to move around. So I think this is awesome. This protection act is good for landlords and owners not to get over on people with disabilities, charging them more for a different type of unit than they're in, or just because
for extra accessibility.
Yep. So I think it's a good thing. This is excellent.
Me too. And the next one, just cause eviction limits. Reinforces state rent control with good cause eviction.
Mm-hmm.
It says protections in many jurisdictions.
Yeah. I like to say something on this. Just cause and eviction limits, I think is good because, like, you can't just be evicting people because you want to, just because, like, you think you can.
No.
Like, in this state of California, we have, like, laws in place for tenants. This is not a landlord-friendly state.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so the tenant laws here are really strong in California, and you can't just, with housing already the way it is, and there's a shortage across the nation. Here in California, there's affordable housing crisis here as well. So, like, just being able to evict somebody because you can is just not right. Like, people have to be protected and not become homeless because of someone's personal opinion, or they feel like, they're going to go off someone. Oh, you've had too many evictions, so you cannot live here based on your past. So, yeah, just cause and eviction limits. Yeah, that's really good protection for California tenants and residents. Yeah.
Yes. And this other one is out of sight spotlights. HUD rolling zoning back rollback. Federal. Yes, but that word for a life of me.
What's that?
the federal.
Federal affirmatively.
Yes,
that's weird.
Right. Furthering fair housing rule. This is scrap, allowing local jurisdictions more control over zoning without federal equity conditions.
Okay, so this sounds like, let's see, out of state spotlight. It sounds like HUD zoning rollback, and it sounds like that the Fed cannot exercise like certain jurisdictions and can't come up with their own zoning for the area.
It's like it's more open now.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like they're uh, stepping back or stepping off of the zoning situation where you can't it's not as hard, I'm guessing, to rezone something. Is that what they're saying?
That's what I'm doing at when it comes to that. Yes,
They're not going to make it as hard to rezone certain areas.
which is definitely right, because how else are you going to deal with this housing shortage?
Yes, exactly. Like certain places, and builders are going to want to get certain lots and land rezoned, depending on where they're at. If they're trying to build multifamily, if they're trying to build townhomes, whatever. So, like, if this is saying, from what I understand, it says scrapped allowing local jurisdictions more control over zoning without federal equity conditions. So without the Fed being involved,
Yes,
the local county jurisdiction has more control over changing the zoning of a certain lot or a certain area without the boys being involved.
being down your throat.
Right. That's what I get out of that.
Yes, and the last and least, gender identity discrimination.
Yeah.
Iowa SF 418, federal protection limited in certain public accommodations from July 1st, 2025, based on gender identity.
Go ahead, man.
The gender identity, that's huge right now.
Yeah.
It's very huge. It can be a very touchy subject.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I tell people, I'm like, you know what? All of us are people.
Mm-hmm.
We are God's children, and just treat everyone how you would be treated.
Exactly.
Show love and respect. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it goes a long way. And I tell people there's two sides. I mean, people talk about karma in a bad sense.
Right.
No, karma is good also.
Yep.
There's two sides to karma. Either you get that good karma or that bad karma.
Yeah. Exactly. And this kind of, I don't even know why we even have to like discuss this.
Right? I don't either.
Because, I mean, why care about someone's gender just because they're trying to live somewhere?
Exactly.
Right. A human being trying to find a roof over their head. Who cares what their gender identification is?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I'm not worried about it. Like,
No.
But for some reason, it's, the transgender thing and gender identification is getting more popular, like artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Yes. Indeed, is getting more covered. There's laws coming out for LGBTQT and gender identity, and people who are trying to fight for their gender so they don't get discriminated against. So
Yes.
There's a lot of like laws, and there's a lot of fight over, being equal to someone who's trying to like just be a human being. Like if they change their gender, they change their gender. Like shouldn't be related to housing to me, but
No, right? It shouldn't at all. But with the gender, the Disability Act, all of it,
yeah,
it's to this very day still plays a key part, and it should play
in the
a key
housing.
part.
Yeah, it plays a key part in housing to make sure like you're just not getting discriminated against race, disability, your gender, your religion, all of that. So it all comes together with making sure you get a fair chance at housing.
Yes. And then this is off topic, but right now, it's the beginning of July.
Yeah.
What do you feel is going to happen with the interest rate?
So the interest rates are talking about what, like maybe another cut here soon, and then that's it for the year.
Yeah, I tell a lot of people there's not going to be much movement this year with the interest rate.
Right. We're gonna have to ride this one out, and there might be another small cut towards the end of the year. But I guess from what would you say Jerome Powell saying he ain't making no cuts next year unless this tariff stuff goes away. But Donald Trump already has the tariff stuff in place. And it's happening right now. So, the Fed is just going to have to wait it out and see what's going to happen. And that's what they're waiting on. They don't want to be influenced by Donald Trump's and what he has going on.
Yeah.
You know,
Powell, I tell people Powell is a very interesting person, and he holds a lot of power in his position because whatever he does, it has a whole dynamic effect, even with everything with our market and everything that goes on.
Right. And I was telling you earlier, we should just go ahead and just have another episode and talk about just stuff that's going on as far as like the Fed, what's going on a little bit with the administration and policies, and we did the new laws that took effect today, and we did that. But we should touch on that a little bit more too. We should touch on the Federal Reserve, maybe what we've been hearing, and we'll probably do another episode on just.
Oh yeah, I think too, like
on it,
how the Federal Reserve, how it affects
everything, everybody, the spending, just everybody in general. How
before they do a forecast of what they think it is, and then they go about like, okay, this is what it is, and then they do their future projections.
Yeah. Talking about like I've seen on the news 7 cuts coming in the next couple of years, or the next in 2026 or something like that, going into 27. Supposed to have like 7 cuts or something like that. Mm-hmm. But who's to say they might not? They might change that.
Oh, exactly right. It's always speculation. Always speculation. But yes, that's the laws for this new year right here of housing that's going on right now, July.
July 1st new housing laws.
Yeah. But rather than that, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else. New construction is still booming.
Yeah. They're still building out there. Other areas, other states are still booming. They're still building here in California, here locally too. There's still a lot of building going on. It's just, the different price points of building. If you're building affordable housing, if you're building just custom homes and stuff like that, building still happening.
Yeah. And I want to shout out to anybody who's doing any type of real estate investing in North Carolina, because I just seen that they are doing an AI complex there in
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina.
Okay.
And Mr. Bezos, he's a contributor, I believe it's $10 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
and I heard some about also too that North Carolina's going to be doing too. Like they're having a lot of people, a lot of jobs coming through for a lot of people, which helps out the economy so much more in that state too.
Yeah. So,
It's those southern states and those Midwest states right there.
Yeah. Creating jobs and creating opportunity for people just all over America. Not just here in California, but just everywhere, because people need to be able to feed their families and be a part of something that's not going to go away anytime soon. They want like some longevity to be able to take care of their families and be in a nice area to work in.
Yes, that generational wealth.
Exactly.
And then if anybody wants to be on the Professionals Real Estate Investing podcast, go to professionalsrealestateinvesting.com to the website. And right now, I'm changing on my email because some reason the platform that I'm on is acting up. So I'm going to have a new professional email that's going to be sent out so I can get everybody on, because I'm ready to take on some experts.
Yeah.
All of the, mortgage brokers, real estate agents.
Yes.
Investors. Yes, indeed. And on that note, as me and my guy would say, everybody have a blessed day.
In the fast-paced world of real estate, success hinges on information. Introducing PropStream, your all-in-one real estate solution. Find properties, analyze markets, and generate leads effortlessly. With PropStream, you're always one step ahead. Access it anytime, anywhere, and watch your business thrive. Don't miss out on the future of real estate. Get started with PropStream today. Visit trial.propstreampro.com/Tony Jacobs for a 7-day free trial and revolutionize your real estate game. PropStream, your key to real estate success. Don't wait. Start now.